I struggled with stomach issues for years. I had E. coli almost 7 times. I had gotten all these different tests done, everything under the sun, and I finally was diagnosed in 2022 with something called SIBO. This video is going to be me spilling all of the tea on everything that I tried, everything that worked, everything that didn't work, and what I currently do today to keep all of my SIBO symptoms away. If you don't know who I am, my name is Julia. I like to make wellness and fitness content, and this is the Daily Deets. If you are constantly bloated after you eat, if you're gassy, if you're burpy, if you're uncomfortable, and all of these things are getting like stacked on top of each other, and maybe a doctor told you, you just have IBS, we don't know what's wrong with you, this video is for you. I think it's important to start this video by saying I'm not a doctor. I don't look like a doctor. I don't act like a doctor. I'm not giving you any medical advice, nor am I claiming to say what works for me will work for you. I'm just here sharing my experience, and maybe you can relate, or maybe you're at the point where I was a few years ago, where I literally was so afraid to eat anything because I was constantly sick and I felt so broken. So now that we got that out of the way, let's jump into it. So what is SIBO? SIBO stands for small intestine bacterial overgrowth. There's basically way too much bacteria in your small intestine, which isn't normal. Now, if you have SIBO, typically you might get gassy, bloated, you might have headaches, you might have fatigue, you might not go to the bathroom very normal. All of these things sound a lot like IBS, but they also sound a lot like SIBO. I had gone to countless doctors over years trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and I was constantly told that I just most likely had IBS. And then finally I found a doctor who was like, nope, you have SIBO. So find a doctor who will test you for SIBO. The most common way that you get tested for SIBO is through a breath test. What they're gonna make you do is you're gonna drink this like sugar solution, and then they're gonna make you breathe through a tube. They're going to track the hydrogen and methane in your air. Now, if you have SIBO, most likely in your small intestine, the sugar is getting fermented really, really quick, and then they're picking up on that in the test. Things that I tried to take to cure my SIBO that did not work. My SIBO was so bad that my gastro had actually prescribed me 2 antibiotics. One, the most common one that is prescribed from my understanding is, I'm gonna totally mess up this name, rifaximin and neomycin. I took both of those combined, and let me tell you, I felt so much better. But unfortunately, my SIBO came back. SIBO does come back. It was like a relapse. And from my research and my reading based off of other people that have gone through this, the effects of the antibiotic, like it works for like 6, maybe 7, 8 months for people. Then typically SIBO comes back. I also traveled to Bali. I got E. coli and I had something called Campylobacter, and I let it live in my system for literally 45 days. I had to take antibiotics to kill the E. coli, and then I had to take antibiotics and to kill the SIBO. So like my gut was just going through so much, and it was like honestly miserable. So try the antibiotics twice. As I said before, relief for a short time, but SIBO came back again. It's just like sitting at my door waiting for me. Other things that I tried to do to heal my SIBO, I tried to go all low FODMAP. I tried to completely change my diet. Low FODMAP is a diet that a lot of people with IBS follow. It essentially helps you avoid a lot of like irritants that make you gassy and bloaty. I didn't know bloaty was a word, but we're gonna go with it. Eating that restrictive made me feel like so upset. The other diet that I tried was a low fermentation diet, which actually really, really helped me. And I'm going to link the low fermentation diet paperwork that was sent to me by my doctor. I believe it's like a Mount Sinai report. And this actually really helped alleviate a lot of my symptoms. But the thing is, it's like, I want to live a normal life. I don't want to have to eat only like a certain amount of foods. I want something that is like sustainable, where I don't feel like I'm being so restrictive over what I'm eating. The last thing that I tried, which was so annoying, because anytime you tell somebody like, oh, I have stomach problems, you know what they say? Oh, are you taking a probiotic? Are you taking a prebiotic? Have you heard of seed? Have you heard of ritual? Shut up. It's so frustrating, and you feel so crazy. And then you have to try to explain to people that like, no, I was actually advised to not take a probiotic because my SIBO is so bad. It's like fueling the fire. Hot take, get ready, it's happening, hot take. When I stopped taking my prebiotic, when I stopped taking seed, which I loved seed for so long before I had these issues, I started feeling a lot better, which is interesting because some doctors don't agree with that. Some gastros are like, no, keep taking this. For me, it just did not work. For you, it might help. For me, it made it worse. I also went down like the Amazon hole and the TikTok hole, and I was just trying so many different supplements. I was like, I have to rebuild my gut barrier, and I was taking all of these things, and I was like, I don't even know if any of these are working. So I stopped. I completely stopped. I lost hope for a very long time, tried to like stay with those like diets and try to avoid things that were irritating me. Then it got really, really bad. It got so bad to the point where like I did not want to eat anymore because I was so uncomfortable. Like I felt so inflamed and so just like honestly, like ew, like I felt so gross in my own skin. And then I started going down a rabbit hole on YouTube and Reddit. And I found this video. This video is very long. It's almost 2 hours long. And it's of a very sweet guy sitting in a chair, talking about all of his stomach issues and sharing everything that he's gone through. And I was sitting there for 2 hours, like almost crying, thinking, oh my God, this guy and I have so much in common. There's something that he recommended in his video that has absolutely changed my life. And if you're watching this and if you're experiencing any of these issues, like you should just give this a try to see if it helps. I started taking ginger and artichoke capsules before my breakfast and my dinner. This is what completely was a game changer for me. So ginger and artichoke, a natural way to help move things through your small and large intestine. Your small intestine doesn't have a great cleaning mechanism like your large intestine. So food gets stuck there and it starts to ferment, and then bacteria grows, and then you get SIBO if it gets a little chaotic like it did for me. Once I started taking ginger and artichoke for honestly, even like a few weeks, I started feeling so much better. I wasn't bloated. I started going to the bathroom at the same time pretty much every single day, which I had not done for years. Now, this worked for me, but I'm not going to give this all of the fame and the glory because I do think that there are other things that I've been doing that have helped strengthen my gut that I can notice if I stop doing them, I don't feel as good.
And that might be crazy and I might just like be in my head and be like making all of this up and maybe it's like all placebo, but I don't think it is.
The other thing that I've been doing every single day for over a year, literally over a year, is I've been taking colostrum. Colostrum is the first milk that is produced by mammals after giving birth. This has been like all over TikTok, all over Instagram. There's so many different brands like Cowboy, Armra. There's Array, I think has it. I don't even know. There's all these different brands popping up. And there is a lot of beef, pun intended, about colostrum. People are getting upset because they want to make sure that after a cow gives birth, that the baby gets colostrum first. And that is why I will only buy my colostrum from brands where the calves are fed first. I don't want to take anything from a baby cow. Baby cows are cute, and that would be rude. There was actually a study, which I'm going to link below, and it talks about how taking colostrum is so incredibly helpful for repairing a damaged gut lining. So when you've got SIBO, you've got too much bacteria, your gut's taken a beating, most likely. If you're like me, you have leaky gut. Like there's so many different things going on. Colostrum is helping repair the gut lining. I think like the recommended dose is like 1 gram a day. I take 3 grams a day at minimum. And that's just because I am so afraid that I'm gonna have to take antibiotics again, and I just rather not. For me, it's worth it. I personally have been using Armra. I like Armra, and I actually also really like Cowboy colostrum. I will link both of those below as well. A word to the wise is you're not supposed to put colostrum in anything hot. You can throw it in smoothies. You can throw it in like juice, iced coffee. You can dry scoop it. It might help you. It really helped me. Another thing that really helped my SIBO was I stopped eating uncooked vegetables. I used to love like raw carrots, raw bell peppers, raw broccoli with like hummus. I don't do that anymore. I don't eat a lot of salad. Everything I eat is like cooked. So I bake my vegetables or I air fry my vegetables, and it seems to help so much where I'm not getting as bloated and I don't feel as uncomfortable when I eat meals. Things that I've tried to do that I know help after I eat a meal is like, I think like these things things are like pretty obvious, but like walking after a meal, like even if it's just like a 5-minute walk, like taking a little stroll just around the block helps with my digestion. Also, not eating super late. If you have SIBO, I would really cut out the carbonated drinks. Like I just really would. Like that's a hot take, but like the carbonation, it kills. Like it really kills, especially if you feel like you're inflamed. Now, today, because I feel so much better, I actually can tolerate a lot of carbonated drinks, but I do think that there's like a difference in carbonation bubbles, if this makes sense. Like you got big carbonation bubbles, like the carbonated drink bubbly, which like I personally would never drink, or like some of like the Perrier, like those bubbles are big. And then you've got like smaller carbonation bubbles like Spindrift or like an Olipop. Like that doesn't bother me, but like the other ones do bother me. So if you feel like you're inflamed, stop drinking carbonated drinks. Also, stop drinking coffee. I love coffee. Like I really, really love it. But for some reason, when I was drinking it, when I was like in the middle of having SIBO, it was like the worst thing for me. Like I just knew it was ruining me. I was making everything so much worse. My whole life, I grew up in a household that was very like Western medicine and Eastern medicine. My dad was a PA, I always say, for like 100 years. And my mom is like a hippy dippy granola, cute little lady. And so the cool thing about me figuring out what was wrong with my SIBO and healing my SIBO is I actually blended Western medicine and Eastern medicine. And you have to figure out what works for you. I know that if I would have had the money in 2022 to go to a naturopath, I didn't have it. But if you have extra money and you're really against antibiotics and you don't want to go down that route, I do know that there are holistic doctors, naturopaths and holistic doctors who do not use antibiotics to treat SIBO. I know that they do it through like different herbs, which is just something that I didn't do. And I was like Googling and I was too nervous to like experiment with things when I felt so sick. So there are other ways. There's different things I'm sure that are out there that have worked for people with SIBO that I haven't discussed. But I thought it would be helpful to share my story because if you're going through this and you're sick and you're tired, I want you to know that you're not alone. The different things that I spoke about during this video, I'm going to link in the description below. And if there's anything that you've tried that helped heal your SIBO, or if you have questions, or if there's any way that I can help, like, please let me know. I want to help. Like, we are all just trying to figure it out. And nobody likes to be gassy and bloated and farting. Like, that's just like not the vibe of 2025, okay? Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope it was helpful and hopefully I see you next time. Bye. See you later.